Let's sketch one cycle of a cosine function this time. So y equals 1/2 cosine 3 times x minus pi over 4 plus 1. So let's think about this function and everything that's going on in here that we know about. So first off, a is 1/2. So that means that the amplitude is the absolute value of a. So amplitude here, the absolute value of 1/2 is 1/2. So from our horizontal center line, we'll be going up a distance of 1/2 and down a distance 1/2 to get to the highest and lowest points of the graph, respectively. The period for sine and cosine is always 2 pi divided by b, and the number in the location where the b is located is 3 here, so 2 pi over 3 is our period. So that's the horizontal distance to get one complete picture of the shape of this graph. Our horizontal and vertical translations, the point HK gives us that, H being the horizontal translation and K being the vertical translation. So in this particular problem, we're going pi over 4 to the right and 1 up. So pi over 4, 1 gives us the horizontal and vertical translations. And then let's figure out these important points where the graph crosses the center line, the high line, and the low line. So high, center, and low. So we start with our quadrantal angles. So 0 pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And we're going to divide by b. So b in this case is 3. So realize that dividing by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. So 0 times 1/3 is still 0. Pi over 2 times 1/3 is pi over 6. Pi times 1/3 is pi over 3. 3 pi over 2 times 1/3, the 3's would divide out and we'd be left with pi over 2, and 2 pi over 3. Now notice that this last number here on this row matches the number that we found for the period up here, so 2 pi over 3. That's always going to be the case. And then add h, and h here was pi over 4, so we need to add pi over 4. Now what I'm going to do is change everything to twelfths. So pi over 4 is 3 pi over 12 plus 0 is 3 pi over 12. Pi over 6 is equivalent to 2 pi over 12. So we have 2 pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 12 makes 5 pi over 12. Now once you have those first two numbers figured out, we know that these values are going to be equidistant from each other all the way across. So from 3 pi over 12 to 5 pi over 12 is a distance of 2 pi over 12. So we just need to add 2 pi over 12 as we go here. So 2 pi over 12 all the way across, 9 pi over 12, and the last one will be 11 pi over 12. Now if you want to just check to make sure that really worked, 2 pi over 12 is equivalent to 8 pi over 12, and plus 3 pi over 12, pi over 4 is 3 pi over 12, so 8 pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 12 does indeed make 11 pi over 12. So these are our values where the graph of this function will either reach its highest point, center point, or lowest point on the curve. So now let's bring in some graph paper and draw this graph. Paper. And we know that the translation, the horizontal and vertical translation, put us at pi over 4, comma 1. So the point pi over 4, 1 is located right here. That's the point pi over 4, 1. The amplitude is 1/2, so we need to go up a distance of 1/2. And that will be our highest point. And we go down a distance of 1/2, and that will be the lowest point on this curve. And then at the point pi over 4, 1, that is what I'm going to call the center or the middle line for this curve. So now I'm going to go across here and mark these special points. So pi over 4, 5 pi over 12, 7 pi over 12, 9 pi over 12, 11 pi over 12. So those are the places where the graph reaches its high, center, or lowest point. So highest, center, lowest. And the cosine curve follows the pattern high, so we start out at the highest, center, low, center, high. So now the hardest part of this, in my opinion, is drawing a nice smooth curve, and don't make this thing look like the letter V. Because if you just connect the dots, it looks like it ought to form a V shape, but it should be a nice smooth curve going through these 5 points. So something like that. And I think it's a little harder to do with the stylus here on my iPad than it will be on paper, but try your best not to make this type of graph look like a big letter V. So this is one complete period of the cosine function that we were working with here.